Okay, let's think about some shadows and some organic shapes in here. Let's do a circular window in here. Okay, so anything that's organic that you need a little bit of help with, actually, just like I showed you in other tutorials about clouds and stuff like that, actually contain it within something that you know. Okay, so with the rules that you've set up here, so you know that you can do just lines up and down, you know that the rest of them, the rest of the lines adhere to what you've set up here. Okay, and if I were to do a circle this side, this is how I would do it. Okay, so to get the center of this circle in perspective, follow the rules to get your square, and then go from corner to corner, and then you can see that that's your center. Alright, and you can see that it's not in the center if this were just, it's not in the center if this were just that shape, just sitting without perspective. So it's further this way. Okay? So you know that if you were to do a circle in perspective like this, you've got all your corners there, you've got all your middles there. So your circle would be like this. It would be an ellipse that's a bit fuller out this way and a little bit shallower at the back. Okay, so that would be a circle in perspective. So let's see if we can do this. Okay, so you just go from center to center. Alright, so apart from the accuracy of my drawing, that's not too bad. Alright, that could be fuller through there. So that is how you would do that. Okay, and then of course, seeing at this angle, you'd get the inside of that as well. Okay, well. So, yeah, there you go. So you'd sort of get the inside looking at that too. So let's do, I won't push it any more than that, but that's basically, it'd be, well, let me just, it'd be this translated over a bit if there was some depth in there. So I'll just, alright, so let's do a puddle and then we'll do some clouds. So with something sticking to the plane on the ground, you would follow what you've got here. Okay, so let's do some squares down here. So going away from us to the right would be red, going away from us to the left would be blue. Okay, and then when we're doing the drawing, you can pick that up. Okay, so what should we do here? So you can use that as a guide. Okay. Alright. Lagging a little bit today. So a puddle like that. Alright, let's try and do a nicer one than that. It was lagging a bit. Okay. Alright, so something like that anyway. We'll try something a bit different. Alright, so you can play around with that and see what looks good. So generally, if you push the general lines sort of sit that way, or the general lines sort of sit that way, you get a puddle that looks okay. A wider puddle would look better than that. Alright, so, you know, a puddle like this would probably look better. And probably adhere to what we're trying to do a bit more. But anyway, have a play. Have a play, but that's generally what they look like. Okay. With clouds, you can do some interesting things and just follow each side. So how about this for a cloud? So you can try that. Okay, so build out blocks as though you're doing that, and think about your horizontal, your verticals. Okay, so it follows. Just put blocks in the sky. Okay, so if it goes away from you on the right, it goes red, it goes away from you on the left, it goes blue. So let's see what we can get here. So if a cloud goes away from you, these circles would get smaller. Okay. So they get smaller as they go back, and they'd be bigger as they go forward. Alright, so that's not too bad. So the lines could get thicker, the curves would get bigger, and then as it goes back, the lines would get thinner, the circles or the ellipses would get tighter and smaller. So you could do things like that. Okay. So, I mean, that is pretty rough. But that's generally what you would do. So a cloud here, a cloud here, a cloud here. We'll do the same here. Okay, so there you go. So you're looking something like that. Okay. All right. So let's have a look at shadows. Shadows are really interesting with this perspective. All right. So say the shadow is, I might just drop that now. Drop the guides as well. Okay, so shadows would follow this as well. All right, so say we've got a shadow of the building. The shadow of the building would be this. And again, I should have put this right out here, but this would follow the red. Okay, so this plane here let's bring this right up. So this plane here would be that. It would go down vertically and then start up again following the red line. So this would be that, 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 essentially. So if there were a shadow here, it would be that, then down, then following that again. Okay, we're not quite following that because this drawing, let's drop the drawing just down a bit. In fact, let's shadows. So the shadow would be there, then down, and then follow the red again. Okay, the top of the shadow would follow the blue because it's going away from us there. All right, so this would be across, down, and like that. So your shadow would be something like that. Okay. All right. You could also add, so let's bring that back up again. And just to finish off, so your shadows, this would be just one big shadow. Okay. All right. So in the wrong layer, but you get the general idea. I won't do all that, but so your shadow would be there as well. And here's where you would pick up these nice things as well. So you could probably just add just a shadow in there from the edge. We haven't added any thickness or anything in here, but yeah, you could add a shadow, that sort of stuff as well. All right, so yeah, let's finish that. So something like that. Okay. So shadows here. Shadows here would follow, going away from you to the right would be red, going away from you to the left would be blue. With 2-point perspective, just to finish it off, we've got 2 vanishing points here. Okay, with organic shapes, we are blocking in, if we need a little bit of help with this, we're blocking in some of these guides. Okay, then we're doing organic shapes within those guides. We are finding the center. We're following our rules with vertical lines and then each other line following each polygon here. We are finding the center. We are doing curves, adhering to where we've found the centers of those according to perspective, and then we're describing the shape based on those guides that we've put in. Okay, so that is a fairly rough idea of clouds, shading, and organic shapes within a 2-point perspective environment.